Milf Threesomes 4-pack, books 29 through 32. Milf Erotica Threesome Erotica Anal Sex Erotica Collection. Written by Nicki Menage. Narrated by Kline. Double Trouble. Milf's Threesomes 29. MFM Threesome Erotica. It was never quiet in the neighborhood I patrolled. Shit, I knew that firsthand. I lived there. Since starting my shift, I'd already dealt with several domestic incidents and petty theft. The next call that came in over the radio was all too familiar. It described two white males, suspiciously hanging around a local parking lot. I knew who they were already. Nate and Carter were two 19-year-olds that were on the wrong path. It was sad to see, especially since I thought they were nice guys deep down. I made my way to their location and couldn't help but agree with the suspicious description. Guys just didn't stand in one place for that long without looking weird. I crept my squad car up behind them slowly and wound down my window. "Busy, boys?" I asked. Nate turned around and rolled his eyes. He looked away while Carter approached the car and put his hands on the door, leaning in towards me. "Hi, Judy," he said. "Checking in on us." "I'm just making sure you're keeping out of trouble." Just then, an old black Cadillac rolled into the parking lot ahead of us. "Fuck," Nate said, kicking at the floor. The car glistened in the sun and its rims sparkled. The windows were tinted so dark that I couldn't even see inside. I watched the car do a lap of the parking lot and then leave. It moved calmly, keen not to attract any suspicion, but doing it anyway. "And who was that?" I asked. Nate turned to me finally with a frown. "You've got no idea, Judy, so enlighten me. And it's Officer Thompson." "That was bad news, Officer Thompson," Carter said. He smiled, but his friend didn't seem to share the emotion. "Thanks a lot," Nate said. "What have I done?" "Now they've seen us talking to the cops." I was confused. "You haven't said anything." "They don't know that," Nate said. "It'll be fine," Carter told him. "We'll figure it out." Carter was only a few months older than Nate, but he assumed a more mature role. He'd always been the responsible one. Someone had to keep Nate under control, I guess. I sure as shit couldn't do it. "Get in," I told them both. Nate and Carter both turned and stared. "No, Judy, I'm not telling you this as Judy. I'm telling you this as an officer of the law. Get in, or I'll arrest you." "Arrest us for what?" "Let's see. The drugs in your underwear? The suspicious rolls of money in your pockets? That gold cross you're wearing that looks suspiciously like the one that was stolen last week?" "I got this at the pawn shop," Nate protested. "That's who reported it stolen." He started to laugh, and Carter joined him. I had to be more serious. "Now get in," I repeated. "Back seat. Maybe it'll give you more street cred." "Real gangsters don't get pinched, Judy." "You're not real gangsters. Get in." Nate looked at Carter, who shrugged. "What else are we going to do?" he said. "We missed the drop." Nate sighed and turned to the car, opening the back door and jumping in. Carter rounded the back of the car and got in the opposite side. "Buckle up," I said, looking in the mirror. Another sigh, and then the two of them put on their belts. That wasn't hard, was it? I started driving, working my way through town away from the middle and towards the edges of the neighborhood. "Where are you taking us?" Nate asked. "Look," I told them. "Just look." Carter and Nate stared out the window at the abandoned houses that lined the streets. Some of them were barely standing. Crack-addled men and women stumbled along the streets, moving from fix to fix. "What a shithole," Nate said. "This is life," I said. "This is what can happen to you. It's all too easy." "Not us, Judy." "Don't be so sure. I've seen kids fall. It happens faster than you think." I looked in the rear view as Nate and Carter peered out of each of their windows, looking at the bleak scenes beyond. I took them out of town further to the disused factory units and warehouses that used to be the backbone of the town. When the work dried up, the poverty soared, and the drugs came in. Nate and Carter weren't bad kids, but they kept being drawn to the down-and-outs across town. "What's the lesson?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?